Hi, welcome to the Future Impact of Robots for Realty. I'm Nikki Greenberg and I'll be guiding you through this webinar. Believe it or not, robots for real estate are on the rise. Don't worry, they won't be taking your job, but they will be taking over your repetitive admin. This webinar will discuss robotic advancements such as how robotic process automation can simplify your job, advancements in autonomous cars, drones, and service robots, and the ways that these advancements in robotics will impact the future of real estate. During this webinar, you will learn the terminology and concepts associated with robots for real estate, understand the impact of robots on the built environment, learn about the role of realtors in this ever-changing technological environment, and more. I'm glad that you can join us. So the outline. We'll start with an introduction. Secondly, we will go through whether a robot can take your job. We'll run through key definitions. We will go through autonomous cars, service robots, delivery robots, automations and drones, and how to get started. If there's one thing you should take away from this, is that robots perform repetitive tasks and that they are there to make what we do better. The technology has evolved incredibly, and during our lifetimes we're going to see it adopted more and more in our everyday lives. I hope that by the end of this presentation you will be excited about robots as I am. Number 1. Introduction to this webinar. I'm going to introduce myself and today's topic. By way of introduction, I'm Nikki Greenberg. I'm a futurist and thought leader in the real estate industry. I'm an alumna of the University of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia, where I attained a Master's in International Business, Masters of Architecture and Bachelors of Architecture with Honours. I'm the founder of Women in PropTech and the co-chair of Urban Land Institute's New York Technology and Innovation Council, as well as founding Real Estate of the Future. I've spent over 15 years in real estate development on multi-award winning global projects, and I served as Director of Innovation and Marketing at Halstead and Brown Harris Stevens Development Marketing in New York, so I understand your roles very well. Now, I spend my days finding ways for real estate organizations to capitalize on the opportunities of PropTech and innovation, and I can frequently be found speaking at leading real estate and technology conferences around the world. To learn more about me, you can visit my website, www.realestateofthefuture.co. In the interest of transparency, I will let you know that I am featuring a number of products in this video. There are products and platforms that I'm excited by. I do not have any commercial relationship with them. Where statistics have been provided, I have noted the source. So something that we do need to remember is that technology is changing incredibly fast and that we do need to catch up. Just consider how much the computer has evolved in recent times. It replaced the typewriter as well as many other tasks, and the level of ease and sophistication that they now offer is quite different to the way that they started. They keep getting better and better. So many of the robots that I'm going to show you today, similarly, are in their infancy. But I would like you to keep in mind that like computers, they will continue to grow faster, more user-friendly, and more complex to support what we do day to day. The purpose of this webinar is to demonstrate the advantages of robots and excite you about what is coming, inspire you, and show you how you might be able to use these robots for your jobs, and essentially encourage you to be pro-robot, as the future with robots is truly brilliant. Number 2, the big question, will a robot take my job? All I'd like to say is that robots support what you do, not do what you do. Here's a quote from an article from CBS News about replacing humans, will a robot take my job? The speaker here says, the robots are definitely coming, but they're here to fill a void, not create a vacancy. That's very important. Well, at the same time, as per this article in Forbes, there's a massive opportunity for tech-enabled companies to compete. So you do want to be engaging with robots for your job. Number 3, key terms and definitions. You can also find more key terms and definitions at www.proptechdictionary.com. Let's get started. Firstly, what is a robot? A robot is an autonomous machine capable of carrying out tasks, especially ones programmable by a computer, capable of sensing its environment, carrying out computations to make decisions, and performing actions in the real world. They are diverse in size, capabilities, and design, and can be guided either by external control device or embedded within. Now, robots take many shapes and sizes, from sophisticated codes and automations working behind the scenes, to having a physical form, or having a form that imitates humans. Machine learning. Machine learning is a branch of artificial intelligence based on the idea that systems can learn from data, identifying patterns and making decisions with minimal human intervention. Machine learning identifies patterns over time, and then it predicts what might happen next and gets ahead of this. So an example is Netflix, where it can suggest shows that you might want to watch next based on the pattern of past shows that you had seen previously. Open API. Open API are sets of requirements that govern how one application can communicate and interact with another. That is, it lets applications speak to each other, allowing for integration. Sometimes we hear the phrase, let them play well together. And really what it means is that these platforms integrate with other popular technology, which may include your existing software such as Microsoft Office or Yardi. The idea is that platforms integrate seamlessly for an easy user experience and a rich multi-dimensional data set. Number 4, and this is where it gets exciting, robots and Realty. So here we're going to cover autonomous cars, service robots, delivery robots, RPAs, delivery drones, and UAMs. I'll explain what all of these things are to you in just a moment. Autonomous cars. Now, autonomous cars are vehicles in which human drivers never have to take control in order to safely operate the vehicle. They combine sensors and software to control, navigate, and drive the vehicle. Autonomous vehicles could aid in the expansion of so-called edge cities, as they enable workers to fill their commutes with work, rest, and play rather than driving, which is quite an exciting concept. As will be explained, the autonomy happens step by step, starting with assisted control, such as helping somebody to parallel park, such as many cars have today, all the way through to complete automation where the driver does not need to have their hands on the steering wheel at all. So this is an example of Waymo, which is a Google car. So you can see that it looks like a regular car, but there are some additional items added to the exterior and, of course, the software that assists it with navigation. So if you see a car that looks like this in the street, it probably is an autonomous car or one in the making. So according to this article in Business Insider, within the decade, autonomous cars are going to be on highways. But it isn't a matter when the technology is ready, will we be ready? So you want to be thinking about autonomous cars and their impact. Autonomous cars really are a game changer for the way that the built environment will be designed, constructed, and operated. They will make us rethink many of the design conventions that we have for places, and as such, it's something that you should be aware of. Much of what is known about the impact of autonomous cars is still theoretical, as they have not been implemented en masse to date. Experts believe that it will be some time before autonomous cars are completely commonplace, but autonomously does happen in its steps. Many experts say that while the technology in testing is ready, regulation and infrastructure is holding back the rollout. The aim is that roads will eventually be safer with autonomous vehicles. There will be less pollution, less traffic, and greater efficiency. A major focus for manufacturers and regulators is, of course, safety. So this is a video that shows some concept cars. And it really is quite exciting to see the types of technologies and the opportunities that are available, such as being able to sleep in a car while it's moving, or even have a blind person being the driver, essentially. So there's a lot of fun that can be had. This stuff's a little bit pie in the sky, but I think it should excite you at least a little bit about what the future might hold. This video is from Waymo, which is owned by Google, and it had their first test in Austin in 2015 with great results. So you can see the type of machine learning that's happening, the way that it tracks different moving objects in the built environment. And gradually over time, it learns to identify what's a car, what's a lane, what's a hazard, what's a cyclist, etc., and learn from these types of operations. This video is also from Waymo, and the passenger is blind. And he actually talks about the incredible autonomy he is able to gain by being able to use an autonomous vehicle. And so this car is driving around all on its own, and he's going from point A to point B. And it really is something that's quite life-changing for him. But even on a personal level, if you think about it, you don't need to actually have a car space for your car. So we can see for real estate, there's going to be less on-premises parking. You'll be able to have off-premises parking and servicing because the car will be able to come to you when you need it. So imagine, when you're not using your car, it doesn't have to be parked. It could even work as an Uber per se in the off time. What's going to become more important for real estate is thinking about passenger pickup points at buildings, because these are going to become increasingly important because you won't be parking your car will be picking you up. At the same time, with a reduced need for parking, existing parking will need to be repurposed. There's many options, and these could be covered in their own webinar. Some include fulfillment areas for e-commerce, dark kitchens, and urban farms. Also, autonomous delivery trucks and vehicles are coming, and they will have their own set of implications on the way that places are designed and operated. So especially if you're in commercial real estate or in logistics, this is something that you'll want to have your eye on. So to drive all of this, just excuse the pun, it's going to have to take 5G infrastructure, because these vehicles do need to communicate with the Internet of Things, and they will have a heavy load on the network. Service robots. Service robots assist human beings typically by performing a job that is dirty, dull, distant, dangerous, or repetitive. It includes household chores. They typically are autonomous and or operated by a built-in control system with manual override options. We have been talking about and imagining robots for a long time. Just look at the myriad of sci-fi movies and cartoons on the subject. Robots have been shown to do tasks ranging from cleaning your home, cooking your food, delivering food, and companionship. You can see some examples here from the popular TV show The Jetsons, which was a cartoon series from the 1960s portraying a nuclear family in 2062 with all types of robots. How different is our future today, and what is the potential for robots in the future tomorrow? So service robots. Now this is where I get particularly excited, because who wouldn't want a robot taking over the parts of our jobs or lives that we find most tedious or labor intensive? This video shows an example of a Temi robot performing some tasks during the COVID-19 pandemic. As you can see, they perform dull, simple, repetitive tasks that can be operated remotely and safely, and essentially support a role. Here is an example of a mall robot with a touchscreen. It can also be operated by voice activation for better hygiene. And this is actually a security robot produced by Nightscope. And what it does here is it patrols shopping areas such as shopping malls. Service robots include robots such as Promobot, which is shown in this image, helping with navigation and a number of different services. This one puts a cute face and an interactive voice to what might otherwise be a dull screen. The uses include airport navigation, restaurant orders, shopping center navigation. Think about how you might use a service robot in any of your assets. Service robots in real estate. Why are they important? Firstly, they are going to be a future amenity that your clients will soon be asking about, much like whether there is a pool or concierge. Secondly, they allow for 24/7 service to the building. Imagine being able to get a midnight snack delivered. Thirdly, over time, they will lower some costs, especially after-hour servicing for your building operations. And finally, they complement your on-site staff, such as heavy lifting and deliveries, so they can focus on customer service. Delivery robots. Delivery robots are autonomous or remote-controlled robots that perform the task of delivery. There are numerous delivery robots being developed and tested by major companies such as Amazon, DHL, FedEx, and others. They experience challenges such as needing to climb stairs, open doors with doorknobs, avoiding moving objects such as vehicles and dogs, and getting around the creepy factor. You will probably have seen some robots online that look like demon dogs. There's no other way of putting it. So it is a consideration about the aesthetics and the way that we interact with them and perceive them. This example is one from FedEx, and you can see the little wheels at the front which help it to climb stairs. Delivery robots can take many forms. My favorite, and there are many of these already in use, are by Starship Technologies. They're deliberately designed to be cute so that when they do get in the way of people won't be too annoyed by them. They've already been in use on some university and office campuses around the US and continue to be rolled out more and more. In this video, you'll see how they work and how they might be deployed. Now, why are service robots important for real estate? Firstly, they will become a desirable amenity. Secondly, in time, they will become commonplace and they will become a required amenity. They're also going to be part of the IoT ecosystem, integrating with other electronics. They can save you time by performing dull and lugubrious tasks, and ultimately they will reduce cost over time. Plus, they can support your day-to-day running. Robotic process automation, or RPA, is the use of digital technology to perform a process or processes to accomplish a workflow or function. It can streamline a business for simplicity, achieve digital transformation, increase service quality, and improve service delivery or contain costs. Robotic process automation is essentially looking at the tasks that you perform repetitively and seeing how they might be digitized, and secondly, how they can be automated. The first step is to assess a problem. What are you spending too much unnecessary time on? And what are the steps to do this function? You can start to map things out. There are off-the-shelf PropTechs that have already thought through many of these problems, and other software from other industries that you can adapt. You might also want to create your own automations, and I suggest that you try it out through projects like Zapier. This table here shows you many of the processes that can be automated. And you can see how RPA might be able to support your business for sales, leases, property management, transaction management, and more. There are many PropTechs and software providers in this space. If you do a quick search online, you'll quickly discover them. What I do recommend is trying a product first before committing to changing your entire system over. Also be aware of whether they have open API so that it can integrate with other systems of yours. So why is RPA important for real estate? Firstly, they support in eliminating low-value added repetitive tasks and help process owners to focus on analysis and strategic decision-making. There's a faster payback period, as by creating a robotic automated process once, it can be easily scalable, tweaked, and become more productive, giving back investments within 6 months to a year, according to EY. There's better transparency and visibility into processes, and you can capture data more efficiently and with greater accuracy, fewer errors, and less risk of fraud. Plus, you can generate reports automatically to keep track of where your business is. Drones. Drones are essentially flying robots that can be controlled by remote control or autonomous. They were traditionally used in the military, but have since moved into civilian sectors. Delivery services and flying taxis are some of the ways that they can be used in the future. I will be showing you a number of examples and applications of drones in this presentation. Here is an example of a drone with a camera, as we commonly see them today. Drones today are commonly used for aerial photography, view photographs, and remote site surveys. When referring to drones, I like to refer to the old mobile phones. These were large, clunky, expensive, and rather uncommon. However, over time, they became more widely adopted, far more sophisticated, and less expensive. And we will see a similar adoption pattern with drones. We're becoming increasingly familiarized with drones today. However, what will drones be like tomorrow? Common uses are going to include delivery drones and UAMs, which we also refer to sometimes as flying cars. Delivery drones are flying robots that can be controlled by remote control or autonomous, and they perform the task of delivery. Here's an example of a test flight by Amazon Prime's Air, which was performed in 2016, so it was some time ago. At the moment, drones are best suited to remote or rural areas because, as you can imagine, to have clearance in dense areas to fly and land offer many challenges. Providers that are exploring drone delivery include DHL, FedEx, Amazon, and many more. Another example is The Wing, which is an Alphabet company that is already delivering in Finland and Australia. Here, users order deliveries for coffee, desserts, and other lightweight items through an app, which is then lowered down to them by drone. So the benefits of delivery drones for the real estate sector is firstly, the novelty. It is something that is unique. In time, this will become a common amenity, so you don't want to miss out on it. It provides efficient delivery, and also you want to remember that it's an alternative means of delivery. You need to think where the packages might land, be it on a rooftop or a garden, that it can be done in a way that there's enough clearance to do so. And also you need to remember that packages will be delivered in a different way. They will no longer be coming through the traditional loading dock or the front door. They'll be coming from the sky. Another advantage is that it provides fast delivery and can get around traffic. Unmanned aerial vehicles, UAMs. So UAMs are aircrafts without a human pilot on board, and they are a type of unmanned vehicle, where they are what we like to think of as flying cars. There are many under development at the moment, and there are a number of providers. The first iteration is expected to essentially be a form of flying taxi that travels between nodes such as airports, and these are expected to be launched in the next 2 to 4 years, most likely, firstly, in operation in Singapore. This slide just shows some concepts of what we imagine flying cars would be like in the future. Essentially some sort of flying saucer, but quite a bit of fun. And this is what a Lilium flying car looks like, or Lilium UAM. So not too different, but added in the wings. This slide here is from NASA. So as of April 2020, they were holding public consultations to discuss how best to manage UAMs in America. There are a number of complexities and stakeholders ranging from aeronautic engineers, flight and airspace control, community groups, town planners, and so on and so forth. And you can see the different types of iterations for what the use cases might be and where they may move between. Of particular focus and consideration are noise and safety. This video here shows again the Lilium UAM. You can see how elegant it is. It's quite quiet compared to a helicopter, and something of this size would hold 4 passengers. This is a concept for a skyport by Uber Elevate, so this is essentially much like a sophisticated bus terminal. So if you're thinking about what transportation will be like in the future, this can give you a bit of an idea. So what is the impact for real estate? Well, firstly, they will be a future amenity due to the convenience of being able to receive packages and get places. It's for ease of transport, much like being close to a major transportation hub, and you know how important that is for residents and for workers alike. They can be operated 24/7, especially because they are quite quiet. And in the future, there will be an around-the-clock amenity because they're autonomous. There's going to be changes to the way that buildings are designed and accessed, because now they're going to be accessed through the top rather than the street, which presents its own challenges. And also, you'll want to be smart about where drones can land in the design of buildings, because this is going to change the way that they can accommodate them. So if you want to think about anything from commercial to multifamily to retail, it's a new way of access. Number 5, getting started. Our future with robots for Realty. So I hope following this presentation that you are as excited about the future with robots for Realty as I am. Much of what has been mentioned is very future focused as technology is being tested and approved, but there are ways to get started today. Firstly, you can start with automations for your operations. You can pilot or test prop techs to see whether they're suited to your needs so that you can have your own robotic process automations. Secondly, I'd encourage you to be curious about the technologies that are coming. They may not impact you today or tomorrow, but they will impact you down the line. And this is something that more and more you want to be able to advise your clients about. You should also be thinking about how robots can improve what you do. You can free up your own time by having robots perform tedious tasks so that you can focus on customer service and deep thinking. And to remember that to get started, much of what you need is actually in the palm of your hands. Our phones are very sophisticated and powerful tools that have very user-friendly apps that can help you on your way. So just to come back and reiterate some of the advantages. Robots can save time and money. They allow you to focus on what you do best. There'll be a new amenity for buildings, offer a better commute and safer commute. They'll allow for repurposing of car parks, have greater efficiency, allow for 24/7 service, and complement your role. I hope that you enjoyed the content of this webinar and have found it helpful as a first step creating a digital experience. This is a beginner's guide and there's a lot more that can be done with the incredible advancements in technologies. And you'll see that the technology is going to keep changing and changing. And this really should be a first step to familiarize you with some of the technologies and concepts that are around, so that when you do read articles and that you're having discussions with your clients about some of the things, that you'll be excited and being pro-robot. So thank you so much. Do reach out to me through my website if there's any way that I can be of help to you to get you started on this robot journey.